This is Focused Baseball, using sports psychology to improve baseball performance by Tori Peterson. This chapter was over the game of baseball, which I happen to be a coach in at ETBU, so this is my expertise. The purpose of this chapter is to provide sports psychologists the tools needed to help players and also coaches to improve their performance as well as satisfaction in the game of baseball. The topics addressed throughout this chapter are psychology tools to not only help a player perform the game of baseball, but also they're tools that help a player mentally get ready to perform the game and also help the players perform the task that they need to be successful throughout their careers. The objectives of there's 4 objectives in this chapter that I wanted to make the summary of this presentation. The first one is objectives of an educational sports psychology approach in baseball, which have to do with long-term performance, self-adjustment, and consistency. The second is challenges in baseball, which are external and internal circumstances. The third one is mental toughness tools, which is love versus fear, gamer victim, and mental skills. And the fourth one is putting those mental toughness tools in effect to build confidence and consistency in the game. So the first point that we're going to talk about here is the objectives of an educational sports psychology in approach to baseball. Long-term excellent performance is perspective and skills taught are not just a next day fix. Baseball is a long-term game, and usually guys are 15 to 20 years into the game before they're done. So consistent practice over a long period of time makes a player excel at the skills that he needs to have to be successful throughout his career. Adjusting during the game of baseball, which has to do with self-adjustment here, where players have to have the ability to adjust in game without relying on coaches to tell them what to do. And an example I have here is a skilled batter, one that is excelled in the game of baseball, makes pitch-to-pitch adjustments. And what I mean by that is that if you're a hitter and the first 2 pitches you see nothing but off-speed pitches, okay, and they're throwing them on the outer half of the plate. So as a skilled hitter, okay, the next couple pitches that you see or the next at bat that you go up, you have to think to yourself, okay, well, since they're throwing me on the outer half and they're throwing me off speed, I have to adjust my hitting plan to what the pitcher is throwing me so I can eventually get a hit. The next one is consistency, and the game of baseball is all about being consistent. If you're not a consistent player, then you will not have a successful career. A player with better mental skills and the ability to bounce back after a bad day is more likely to be better than one who sulks in a bad performance, because if you sulk, okay, you're not going to be successful, because if you go out there the next day and you're still thinking about the day you had before, there's no way you're going to be successful that day. The second one is challenges in baseball, and the game of baseball is the hardest game to perform, in my opinion, in the world. Hitting a round ball with a bat and being successful in this game means succeeding 1 out of every 3 times. If you think about it, a pitcher has to throw 60 feet 6 inches to the plate to throw a strike to a plate that's only 13 inches, and someone's trying to hit that ball. So you're not going to succeed a lot of the times. A big term in this chapter is a player being hooked, and that's just something that gets his attention off of what he's trying to accomplish. So an outside factor that grabs your attention away of what you're trying to do. External circumstances here are something that hooks a player that they can't control. So an outside factor. This includes a player worrying about their statistics. If they see scouts in the stands and they're nervous, they have a girlfriend they just broke up with and that's altering their play. Weather, if it's cold outside, if the field's bad, if fans are heckling you, these are external circumstances that would alter a player's play. Internal ones are details that can hook a player that he can control. Being afraid of a hitter if you're a pitcher, being mad at the umpire because he's not calling strikes, if you're tired, if you're thinking negative, if you're frustrated, all of these can be controlled by the player. And the psychologist's job in this chapter is to help them find ways to alter these things inside themselves when it arises so they can be a better player. Mental toughness tools in this chapter are designed to help a player or coach overcome the challenge that they are facing. The main point behind being mentally tough is to play your best through the toughest situations possible. And a couple ways that, or a couple tools that this chapter gives you is having a good perspective. And what that means is it's just the way that you view the game and being able to be positive in the way that you think you're going to perform. If a player is being completely negative and they don't think they're going to perform well, then you know what? You're probably not going to. Another one is gamer versus victim. And what this has to do with is a gamer in this chapter is described as someone who bases their feelings and their focus that lead to good performance. So if you're a gamer, you accept the challenge and you thrive in these situations. And a victim sees, well, you know, I'm not doing bad. I'm not doing good here, so it's someone else's fault. Or in another sense, a victim says, well, I have to do this and I have to get a hit. I have to throw a strike. And in turn, a gamer is just trying to challenge and do the job that he has at task. Another one is love versus fear. If you love the game, okay, you're playing free and easy and you play because you love the game, you're intense and energetic and you have positive feelings throughout the game. Fear-based is you're filled with tension, doubt, and pressure. Someone that constantly plays with fear is pretty much most of the time never going to succeed. A common form of fear-based play is constantly trying to prove yourself instead of being free and easy. So if you're constantly trying to prove yourself, okay, and oh, well, coach doesn't think I'm good, my teammates don't think I'm good, so I have to go out there and I have to get this hit to prove myself, that's not good. Okay, some more tools is posture, just the way that you carry yourself around the baseball field. Talking to yourself and deep breathing are good tools too. Just mentally talking yourself up, you know, when you're at the plate, if you're going to an at bat, okay, talking yourself through the bat and having breathing tools to help you get in tune with yourself so you can succeed. Okay, the third one here is using mental toughness tools to build confidence and consistency. Baseball is all about consistency, like I said earlier, and a big one that I have here is pregame routines. And these are a huge way to build consistency in the game of baseball. If you have a routine that you do every day before every game, that transfers over, so you're in the same routine every single game for doing those pregame routines. So if you're doing good and you're on the same routine, that's pretty much going to carry out throughout the game and help you with at-bats and pitches and making plays in the field. Another one is playing one pitch at a time, and we tell our players this a lot. and that making errors is part of the game. But if you make an error and you dwell on what you just did, you're going to continue to fail. You have to put plays behind you, and the biggest tool here is to forget quickly. If you make an error, who cares? It's over with. It's out of here. But the next ball's coming to me, and I'm going to make that play. The two articles that I did research over on this specific topic was the first one is problem solving in the game of baseball. So, like I explained earlier, problem solving has a big influence in how a hitter approaches an at bat. And the study in this was how baseball players are able to put problem solving into an at bat. And I'll talk you through this here. If I'm a hitter, like I said earlier, and I'm in a 2-0 count, I have to problem solve and determine what the pitcher is going to throw me next, so I can get the best possible at bat I possibly can in that at bat. And, problem solving is also figuring out, okay, what he threw me, what pitches he threw me, what area of the plate he threw my last at bat. So I'm solving, putting all that together, and I put it in preparation to my next at bat. And pitching is that too, knowing what hitters' tendencies are and being able to solve where they can hit the ball and what their big parts of the plate where they can really drive the baller at, and I problem solve there and go the opposite way. The second article that I did was sports psychologist dealing with anxiety in baseball. Anxiety and stress is a huge part in the game of baseball, especially at the professional baseball level. The stress of constantly failing and the anxiety of constantly failing in the game of baseball is humongous. And this study just talks about they had a pre-intervention preseason with some players in this study, and they went through tools they can use when stress or anxiety enters their mind or their body during the game. And the study actually found that the pre-intervention helped these guys out in that specific season because they were able to deal with what was going on negatively in their mind. Overall, this chapter was very interesting, but I do want to stress the fact that, this chapter does explain that the game is way more mental than it is physical. These tools of sports psychology in this chapter has drastic effects on many players. The importance of understanding the game and tools for developing mental toughness and how to put those tools into effect can dramatically increase a player's confidence and ultimately their career, not just their game, but the length of their career as well. But essentially, the game is the most difficult in the world, like I said earlier, and to be mentally tough in this game, one needs to know that failure will happen, and this chapter gives many tools and many ways to deal with those factors. So overall, it was a great chapter, great to read. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.